A mediocre mentor tells. A good mentor explains. A superior mentor demonstrates. But a great mentor inspires. A quote by Lucia Bellows. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Toastmaster of the day. I would like to take you to 2014 when I had just started my job in a new hotel. I had been there just 2-3 weeks and the manager told me to attend the morning meeting. Now a morning meeting is where you have the general manager and you have all the heads of department coming together to share their updates. And I was the 5th person to speak. All the 4 people have spoken. It was my. To my surprise, I was unable to utter a single word. The whole room was looking at me. It was at that moment that I had my self-confidence was plummeted. After that incident, I didn't know what to do about my communication. And it took 2 years for me to search out a platform where I can improve my communication and public speaking skills. I went on the internet, I searched how to improve communication, public speaking, get over your fear. And what came up? eGuru coaching classes. Has anyone heard of eGuru coaching classes?
No.
That's how popular and effective it was. But I said to myself, hang in there. So I went to this meeting of this eGuru coaching classes. There was 14 people there. One guy giving the lecture, and he was speaking on how you should face certain situations, what email you should write, how to write an email, all theory without any practical. I was there for 2 months because I said to myself, hang in there. After 2 months, I realized that this was not a place for me, and I stopped going. It took me 2 more years to find something, a platform where I can go and get over my fear of public speaking. And I found this platform with a funny name, Toastmasters. I searched the club near my house. It had an interesting name, Gurgaon Oriental's Toastmasters. It was having a meeting every Saturday, and Saturday was coming up. So I went on a Saturday to this club. I parked my car. I went up to the building. There was 2 people standing there, very nicely dressed. And I said, I've come for a Toastmaster meeting. They were so cordial and friendly. They said, yeah, just go downstairs in the basement. I thought I was getting kidnapped. But I reached there and I remember I sat on the 3rd row and speaker after speaker was coming up and just pouring their heart out. And I remember thinking, what amazing speakers, I want to be like that. After the meeting, there was cake, there was snacks, there was soft drinks. It was a celebration. It was the 100th meeting. And it was wonderful seeing everyone celebrate together. I went to 2-3 meetings after that and I joined the club. At this moment, I had never heard in my life about mentoring or being a mentor. It was after joining, after a month's time, I was assigned a mentor. And my first mentor's name was Tanish Mehta. And I would call him, I would share my speech with him, he would modify the speech and send it back to me, and I would do that speech in the club. And it went on like that. It took 2 more years. I got many mentors changed. After 2 years, I got a new mentor, someone I met, Ankur Yadav. And I knew this person I wanted to be my mentor. And that was the time that I got great improvement in myself. Because a mentor's job is to push you when you can't push yourself, to add value to you, to tell you to do things that have value in them and tell you why that you should do them. And when you do them, you become a different version of yourself. A mentor's job is also to give you courage. See, fear is always there, but courage is doing that thing despite having that fear. That is courage, something a mentor, a great mentor can do. And that is something that Ankur Yadav did for me. And I'm ever so grateful to my mentor, Ankur Yadav, for helping me out and doing that, giving me that mentorship. It was 1 year ago, 1 year back, I had a time in my life that I thought about leaving Toastmasters. I got so demotivated that nothing is happening, what's going on. It was Ankur Yadav who convinced me to stay on, to renew my membership, and it would get better. And I said to myself, hang in there. So I hanged in there, and he was right. I took up opportunities. I did many roles, oration, anywhere I got opportunity I took that, and I got better. I was consistent with my meetings, and that is the thing that helped me become better. And just a month ago, at our office, we had an annual day, and there was 200 people. There was employees, there was senior management, and I gave a speech at that event, and I did a good job. And the icing on the cake was, after 2 weeks, the general manager for Pan India met me in the lunch, and he said, Anurag, you are a great speaker. I was so taken back by that, and that made me, it put me on cloud nine that day, probably the rest of the month. From 2014, not being able to speak in front of 15 people of senior management, having low self-confidence, not knowing what to do, to 2023, speaking in front of 200 people, top high-end leaders with all the employees, and doing a great job, and being told that you have done a great job and you're a great speaker. That is something, the power of Toastmasters and mentorship, that can do to you. But remember, all you have to say to yourself is,
Hang in there.
back to you, Toastmaster.